Oh, it's quite early. I'm not awake yet. Renovation update. That's what I need to film because I haven't uploaded anything for like a couple of weeks now. And to be completely honest, the house looks pretty much exactly the same, except for in the garden. So remember I was taking down the conservatory. We took that down in like a day, then packed all of the crap from that conservatory, like all the plastic, like the trimmings, all the glass, all of that stuff we packed in the back of my car, which I think just for that little conservatory, I think ended up being 5 or 6 runs to the tip, maybe a little bit more, maybe it was like 7 actually. And then for all the rest of the rubble bags that I filled with concrete, we then got a permit for a skip. If you don't know, if you don't need a permit for a skip if the skip's going on your own land, but we don't have any rear access or side access here to get a skip down. We're like mid-terrace, so that's a little bit annoying because then we need a permit, which costs money. And then obviously skips, they cost money, so all in with the permit and the skip, you're looking at pretty much 500 quid every single time you get a skip, which is expensive. It's annoying. If you haven't done any like home renovation or anything like that before, you'll be amazed at how much rubbish you create during a project. So yeah, we managed to get all of that concrete into a skip. We may have made it into a little bit of a mountain, but the guy turned up and he took it away fine. So yeah, 500 quid on the skip, all of the concrete's now removed, allowed us to then start leveling the ground. Now, why do you want to level the ground? Basically means you buy a level and you just make sure that the land is not just running a complete angle. I think we measured it with a laser level and the drop from the house to the back of the garden, the land was actually dropping like 45 centimeters or something. So obviously that means closer to the house, we need to take away some soil to then level it. So you probably need to be taking 45 centimeters at the rear of the house and then grading it slowly to then reach that at the back of the garden. Now, why do you want to do that? Well, when you're working out floor heights, it's just very easy. And like when you're digging then the trenches, then there's no, oh, I'm digging actually 1.3 meters at that end and then a meter at that end. It's all consistent then. So yeah, it's just something you've got to do. So that took roughly 2 days, I'd say, of just hand digging it. Yes, you can get a digger. Well, we would have to get a titchy little digger, one that's thinner than the width of a doorway, and then drive it through the house. And to be completely honest, what you might realize from watching my channel is I'm not cheap. I'm actually not. I'll spend money stuff and people go, oh, I can't believe you spend money on that. But then when it comes to stuff like hiring a digger, I'd much rather just hand shovel it. I don't know why. It's just the way my brother and I have always done things. And then we started on the foundation. So we need to dig the trench. But before you do that, you need to mark it all out. What is trenches, foundations, footings? To be honest, I actually don't really know what the difference between all those terms are. I just kind of lump them in as the same thing. Foundations of a house is what a house is built on. Trenches, you're digging trenches, and then the footings are where you're pouring the concrete in. That's my understanding of it. Might have to Google that to double check it. But yeah, I kind of like say those 3 terms for all of it. It's probably not the correct thing to do, but the foundation's obviously the most important part of a house. It's what a house is built on, and you need to get your foundations right. Now, when you see these little lines being put out everywhere, That's basically marking out the boundaries for our footings, okay? Now, what is the footings? Okay, you dig the trench, you pour the concrete in, that's your footings. And then you can do your block work, the brickwork, all coming off of the top of that. So we spent a while marking out, and basically what you're making sure of is it's all correct. Okay, it sounds stupid, but we're making sure that it's going out 3 meters from the back of the house, because it's all obviously the specification to your extension or whatever it is you're doing. Fundamentally, you need to add a few centimeters either side of it when you're digging the footing, because obviously you don't really, what you can do, but you don't want to be building the wall on the edge of your footings, because you just got to think about the forces going down right on the edge. You kind of want it to spread the weight of the extension, so you want to build it, I guess, ideally in the center, but you can build on the edge of it on the boundaries. Well, that's what we're going to be doing anyway. Without thinking about it too much, that is basically it. It's just making sure that those measurements for these lines are exactly where we are wanting to build our extension. The key things you need to be double checking is just making sure that your corners are 90 degrees. How do you do that? 3, 4, 5. If you measure 3 meters here, 4 meters along this way, what's that line called? I don't know. Hypotenuse? What? Is it? What is a hypotenuse? Hypotenuse? I wasn't very good at school. That is actually what it was called. So 3, I don't know how to, I can explain it this way. This would be a lot better. 3 meters, 4 meters, the hypotenuse is going to be 5 meters. That means that is a 90-degree angle. You need a 90-degree angle when you're building your extension. But then you also do need to make sure that it's actually parallel, and that is a bit hard when a house can be built a bit pissed. So it's a balancing act. We decided to just basically, the house was a little bit on skew, but we decided that we wanted to build with 90-degree angles. And I think it was basically only like 1 centimeter out, which in building is fine. So yeah, that's what we went for. So yeah, once we've marked it all out, the block work, if you're doing brickwork, block work, whatever, from that you can then work out the width of the trench needs to be, and then you just start digging. Now, there are set required depths. It's going to depend on a lot of things. If you're doing a single story extension, a double story extension, you'll figure all of that stuff out when you're going through planning and all of that process. But basically, we actually have really good soil here, but we still need to dig like 1 meter deep. Roughly, it was like 1 meter-ish, which is long. That's a deep trench. And if you're digging trenches, yes, you can get a digger in, but we've already covered this. I'm cheap, so I just hand dug it all. To dig all of the trenches, I still need to do a little bit more, but you're looking at basically a full day's work with my brother and me. And then obviously the rear side extensions, that's like 8 meters out that way. So times that by 1 meter deep, that's a lot of soil. And at the bottom, it's not really soil, it's gravel. So really good soil to be building on. But yeah, also the other thing that you're going to notice when you start doing all of this work is when you're aerating the soil. So obviously if you're digging, there's like a calculation for it. But basically when you're digging out soil, you're digging compacted soil. So basically every shovel that you take out of the ground, by the time you've chucked it onto a pile, it literally is pretty much doubled in size, because obviously it's got air between the soil particles and like the gravel and everything. That's why whenever you're filling a skip up with soil, jump in the skip, stamp and it all compact all the soil down, because it's all aerated and it actually looks like it's more volume than it actually is. So yeah, that's something that we're actually facing a little bit of an issue with, is we're running out of space to put soil in the garden. So we've got a skip ordered. I'm going to take 2 years. I'm going to take two days off work from my day job to fill the skip, do some other bits about the house. I think it's going to be at least 2 skips, so 500 quid, 500 quid. So £1,000 in just removing soil. Like, these are the costs that are so important, because they kind of sneak up on you. Because when you tell someone that you're going to be spending like £7,000 on skips alone on a project, they're like, nah, surely it's not going to be that much. It adds up really quick. So it's just something to be really wary of. And yeah, the next step really is getting then the building inspector out to come and just check that all the trenches are as they should be. He's happy with the depth, the width, all of that. And then once we get the go-ahead from him, we can then crack on and we can get concrete pumped through the house and it can fill those trenches. Yes, you can hand mix it all. And going back to me being cheap, my brother and I have hand mixed a lot of concrete in our lives, and we're just paying it because that's a lot of concrete. And then that's going to be the footings done, which when you see the trenches dug, there's these little milestones you get when you're renovating a house where you actually feel like you're making progress, and this is a big job. Once the concrete's in the ground, you can kind of see properly that outline of what the extension is going to be, and it's kind of like a little bit of a nod to yourself, like, okay, I'm actually getting through this. Because seriously, it's like, to be in renovating house, you need to have a really like strong mindset, because you feel like you're making no progress for such a long period of time, and then all the pieces kind of start falling together. Don't ever think of the project. Yes, sometimes you need to think of the project as a whole, but try and break it down into smaller pieces, like the extension, like the loft, like the kitchen. Because if you just think of it all at the same time, it's just going to scramble you. You're going to get stressed. So at the moment, we're just focusing on the extension. So yeah, it'll be a really big step once the concrete's been poured. There's also another thing that's going on in the background. I've been saying that I'm going to do a video breaking down builders, because like I said, on this project, it's not going to be just my brother and me doing all the work. Yes, we're going to be doing a lot more than most people do. Like, we got main loft, pod room loft, a full-on extension. So we want to break down the jobs and probably sub some pieces out. Like I said, my brother and I, we're doing this on weekends, evenings, and then using our annual leave to do the rest and everything else we have going on. So yeah, we need to get people in to do certain jobs. So I'm waiting to get some more quotes in before I do a video on like how to find a builder, how to not get absolutely ripped off, because I mean, some of the quotes we're getting, we just open them and just laugh, because it's like, I cannot understand some of the quotes. Like, they're just ridiculous. And I'll show you how we compare them all. And you can literally see where some people are trying to mug you off. Some are very fair, and we'll get into them. And it's too soon to basically tell. But yeah, I'll show you how to find a builder you can trust. I'll show you how to like work out which one's taking the mick, which one's actually a very fair price. And when I say a builder's taking the mick, I mean, fair play. Someone in London will pay their prices. It's just not going to be my brother and me. You just got to find the builders who just want to turn up, do an honest day's work for an honest wage, get in, get out, go home, get on with their life. And that's the sort of builder you want. If you don't want someone turning up in a suit, tell it just nodding, saying yes, because you can add a couple noughts onto the quote you're going to get from a person like that. You just look at their hands. I'm going to get into this in the like not get ripped off by builders and how to find them. I'll get into all of it, but yeah, quick tip: look at their hands. If their hands are not messed up, they've never held a hammer or a saw, there's a reason they're in a suit, they're going to be ripping you off. I know I said I'm going to do this next video, but I want to tell you, we've had people try and charge £500,000 to do the extension in the lofts. Everything to look for, like all of that stuff, I think that'll be really helpful. So I'm going to get into that once we've crossed that bridge ourselves, so I actually know exactly what we are going to be doing before I start explaining all of that stuff. And so it's a little bit more clear. And yeah, that'll be a really good video, because that's a lot of money can be saved doing what we're going to be doing. And speaking of money, so far we worked out we've saved 14,000.